Hello, artists. Today we are learning four different watercolor painting techniques. Everyone is going to get one piece of painting paper. First, fold it in half, then fold it in half again. And when you unfold it, you have four different squares. You can outline those areas and don't forget to write your name and class code on the back. The first painting technique we're learning about today is called wet on wet or wow. This is a fun technique. First, you wet the paper with clean water. You want the paper to look shiny with water, but you don't want the paper or the water to be puddly or droopy. Then you take your wet paint and you drip it all over top of that wet area. It is an unpredictable effect. It creates an abstract and organic design. You can paint the color on in lines or shapes or just little drops. Watch how the color spreads, how the paint has a mind of its own. Notice how the colors mix together. It is such a fun, unique effect. The next technique we're going to learn about is called wax resist. For this technique, you can use crayon or oil pastel. I'm choosing to use white so you can really see the magic, but you can also use any color of crayon or oil pastel. When you press softly, like I am here, it leaves behind a certain design, or you can press very firm with your drawing material. I'll show you what those look like here in a minute. Now, we've chosen to use crayon or oil pastel because they're made of a wax substance. When drawn on the paper, it leaves behind a little bit of a barrier that resists the water. It's like a wall that says to the paint, "No, you may not go here," and the watery paint slides off the wall. And when you add watercolor paint, you'll notice how the paint just slides off of the design that you left with the crayon or oil pastel. Check out the difference between the area I drew softly and the area where I press firmly with my crayon. What do you see has happened with the paints? The next technique is called tape resist. It's very similar to the one we just did, the wax resist, except for instead of crayons, we use some tape. So we carefully lay the tape down on our paper while the paper is dry, and we lay it out in the design that we want to be left behind. And then, once all the tape design is laid down, you go and paint on it just like you want to. Once you're finished painting, leave the paint to get completely dry, and the paper must be completely dry as well. And then you can carefully lift up the tape. And finally, the last technique we're learning about today is called blotting away. First, you begin by painting your area with the colors that you desire. Work quickly so the paint doesn't dry. Then you take a Kleenex or a paper towel to blot away. One Kleenex seemed really big, so I ripped it in half and I carefully crumpled it up and firmly pressed it on my paper. I'm going to leave it there for a little bit to soak up the paint. You can do the same thing with a piece of paper towel. For this technique, you must also wait quite a while to ensure that the paper is completely dry. And once you're sure that everything is dry, then you can carefully remove the parts. Carefully, slowly peel away the tape to reveal the wonderful white design left behind. What are some ways that you can use these techniques to create your own amazing artworks? For the blotting away technique, you just gently lift off the Kleenex or paper towel to reveal the softer colors and wider areas. Look, the paper even soaked up some of the beautiful paint color. I'm now excited to see you try out these wonderful and fun watercolor painting techniques.